Hello again, everyone. A very warm welcome to this live. We are back with the second episode of the interview series called Journey to the Crown, where we will be interviewing the contestants from Femina Miss India 2023, and we'll get to know their stories, what has been their life so far, and what brought them to this coveted platform to win that crown. And I'm looking forward to a lot of fun and interesting conversations where we can learn something from these contestants, we can get inspired by them, and rather than just watching beautiful faces over on social media and trying to make our predictions, I've decided that this time let's get to know the contestants from their voices themselves, and let's see if we can get to know them a little better before we see them performing on the big stage. So the next guest that we have is live with us now. Hey Victoria, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing good. How are you? Must be a busy schedule for you too.
Not as busy as you. Thank you for asking. I'm doing very well. And thank you so much for taking out time today, Victoria. A huge congratulations, first of all, for
Thank you
winning
so
Femina Miss
much.
India Goa 2023. It's such a huge achievement, and I had to do that in person as well.
Thank you so much. Really means a lot.
You are glowing, and I want to ask you, what are your secrets despite the very busy and hectic schedule that you guys have? For everyone watching and who has joined the live here, if you don't know already, like Victoria mentioned, she is with Femina Miss India Goa 2023. She holds a degree in mass media. She's also a senior account executive, and she's also an entrepreneur. So that's a lot of feathers in one cap. And I want to talk about your business and how are you handling so many things together, and your journey from being an entrepreneur to now a beauty queen, and what that's like.
Okay, so I am Femina Miss India Goa, and so today the live session is with Nikita ma'am. I'll say ma'am because honestly, when I started my pageant journey, I have to do that. When I started my pageant journey, I looked upon a lot of your videos, in order to understand the little things of pageantry, and I must say it has been so helpful during the process that I'm really honored to have this live session with you. Everything at Miss India feels like a dream. This is one of them.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Victoria. I actually did not know until now that you have seen my videos before this. But yes, it feels really good to see that, just through the value adding that I've been trying to do through videos on YouTube has helped. And that is the point of this series as well. Like, when we were talking earlier, I mentioned that the reason I wanted the contestants to come on board themselves and talk about their stories is because every single year there are girls who wish that they would get an opportunity to talk to you, to know what your experience has been like, and this is a way to just have that memory on the internet forever, and also to get to know you a little better, because we are all trying to predict what is happening, and we'll talk about all of that. I know it gets quite overwhelming. So tell me a little bit about, your childhood, Victoria. I really want to know, have you always been in Mumbai, or did you grow up in Goa?
So, I've always been in Mumbai. My heart has always been in Goa. So, whenever I had the time, we visited Goa, and my parents belong to Goa. So, that is how I am representing my love and the heart of Goa here. So, a little about my childhood would be that I was born and brought up in Mumbai in a school in Mahim itself, and I was a very academically oriented girl. I was a part of the school cabinet, very focused in studies, very obedient, punctual, and all. I used to tick all the good girl checklist. And being a part of the pageant world or being a part of the beauty industry, although I always knew I was inclined towards it, I never really thought of, vocalizing this dream or really actualizing it, and honestly. So my childhood was filled with studying, learning, being obedient. I just went with the flow, never thought where life would take me, and here I am at Femina Miss India. So that is one thing that I've learned, if you take one day at a time, it really helps you live that moment and leads you for the better.
Wow. So I did want to ask along that, like you said, it wasn't a dream that most young girls are not able to really, talk about this, because there's so much stigma for some reason around wanting to develop a profession, say in the entertainment industry, because of a lot of misinformation that exists out there. So, in a way, what made you choose mass media? Was that a path towards this industry itself, or was it something what you wanted to do? Because the background that you mentioned, usually we hear, okay, you're either a doctor or an engineer or a CA, but you did mass media. So I want to understand what that thought process was.
So I had this knack of being creative since I was like very young. I love doing extracurriculars along with my academics. When I had to choose my degree, I had quite a few options, as you mentioned, but I really felt it was just a feeling. It was like a strong feeling. I did not want to. I thought about arts. I looked into it, and I'm just like no. I thought about science. I'm just like no. When I learned about mass media, again, it had such a wide range of, creative aspects in it that I never gave it a second thought, and I just went with what I felt like, and I think that really makes more or less my career and my choices in life. I had someone who once told me that your career will be a sum total of random moves. And today, when I look back at it, I really, have that in my mind that, oh, this is something that I went through. I did not really plan what I'll be doing in the next 10 years or what I'll be doing the next 15 years. I just took each year at a time, each day at a time, and it worked for me.
Wow. So I see that you are more of a follow your heart person than follow your mind person, yes. And it takes a lot of faith. So how
It
do
does.
you, what is your way of,
Sorry to cut you off.
no, what I was asking was, it takes a lot of courage to have faith in the process is what they say, But a lot of us are usually too anxious to come to that stage. How do you silence the self-doubt in your head and how do you keep believing?
So the thing for me was that when I set out to achieve my goal of being in the fashion industry or walking the runways, it wasn't a cakewalk for me. I had to quit a corporate job which I excelled at, and on the other side, whenever I posted a picture on the RAM, I had my own people backlash my parents because of the career choices that I made. So for me, it was always to believe in myself and to prove something, because if I did not do that, it was so difficult to even put myself together. It was never as strong as they see outside. I have taken my time to sit in the bathroom and cry for myself, and seeing your parents who worked so much for you, seeing them sad or being backlash because of the career choices that you are making as an individual really breaks you from within. So it has not been a cakewalk, honestly, but what has set me, to pave the path to success is my constant belief in myself. And always, there will always be times when people will bring you down. Even today, I would say that quite a few people who, look at you in a certain way that will, and do things in a certain way that will bring you down. But at the end, you need to know that all you have is yourself. You have no one else to be with you when times go low. When you see around you, you see that you're all by yourself. And that's when I realized that I need to do something for myself, because be it anything, people will come back to you and people will shut you down. So don't let the spark within you just go away. That spark within you just illuminates so bright. Make sure that you spread that light everywhere. And this can be done simply by being yourself, because once you are yourself, you're so confident that people just want to look at you, and you generate such positive vibes. It's so good for you and for the society.
I can actually relate to so much of what you were talking about, Victoria, because I think a lot of us can in fact resonate with this, that there comes a point in life where you have nobody but yourself to just push yourself, because motivation is not something that you're going to look for outside. And I'm sure that self-reliance that you have now, practiced over and over again has helped you a lot probably as an entrepreneur as well.
Yeah.
I really want to know what your lockdown journey was and how did you come up with this business?
So I think we discussed this in earlier that I am someone who follows my heart. During the COVID, I was cleaning my room and I found yarn and I found a needle. And I'm like, oh, I used to do this in school. Let me see what I can do with it. I looked for a few videos on YouTube and I did not want to make the normal flowers or something that is, seen everywhere. I looked at some tops and I really was fascinated with it. And I went forward and I made one for myself. I made one, and I'm a very introvert, not very socially active kind of a person. So I used to put that on my close friends, and the 12, 13 of them who saw it, and they're like, wow, this is great. You should start something. I was so motivated by the 13 of them that I made one more top. And my friend on a random comment one day said that if you start a business, I'll be your first customer. And I'm like, maybe I can do this. I started a business and during the COVID. So that's how it all started. But along the way, I understood that this time during the COVID, when everyone was so low on themselves, I found crocheting as a motive, as a motivation in order to, see what I am truly capable of. Handling a business during the time where people couldn't even step out of their house, delivering these little gifts of happiness to them, really ignited in me a sense of passion towards doing something for the society. It was 1 year down when I started this business. It was going good, and I had just like me and another friend working along. That's when I realized that I can do this is an art that women have been doing for quite some time. And if they can earn through this, that's the best thing, because they'll be at the comfort of their home. They'll be doing something that they are already skilled at, and they will already be empowered with having money for themselves, earned by themselves, and they don't have to be dependent on anyone. My mom made sure that I know the importance of being financially independent at a very young age. So when I understood this, and when I understood the concept of providing employment to women and thus empowering them, it really struck a chord. And that's when I started hiring people on project basis. And I would say it's not quite a lot of people. In my small little efforts, whomever I can, I make sure that they can uh, earn a living for themselves with the little projects that I can help them with. So this journey, if you talk about what I think about it further, with the platform that Miss India provides, I really think I can reach to a large number of people in the rural areas, and thus provide employment opportunities to them, and has to scale my business. So I think it will be a win-win situation for both of us, because there'll be people out there who will now be employed doing something that they love from the comfort of their home, and also earning money in the process. So this is what I look at it from the long-term perspective, and that's truly an honor to be at Miss India, because this platform really helps you to connect with so many people and relate to them. So yes, that is more or less I would want to say.
Wow. I feel there is so much clarity in the way you speak, and that comes from having, a lot of experience. Like on one hand, we talk about where, being in a corporate job, you said that you had to quit it in the lockdown and move towards this path. I have done something very similar, and I kind of understand, like having that experience also, even if that wasn't your passion, has probably taught you a lot, which now you are implementing in your own brand. And in fact, my brand Conquer was also established during the lockdown, so I know a lot of the struggles more so because, in fact, yours had a whole logistical aspect to it with delivering. I love that because I'm very into handmade products, and handmade gifts is what I feel it just holds a different value. And firstly, kudos to you. In fact, like you're doing all of this, but on top of that, the fact that you know how to crochet, because I have a personal fun story to share about this. I went to a wedding, one of my best friend's wedding in November, and coincidentally, I was in, I had a roommate there who used to crochet at night, and that was my first time watching, like, a young person doing crochet, because I don't know, I wasn't taught this in school, and so we spent 2 or 3 nights together, ordering, midnight munchies, and also me learning how to crochet. And it's not easy. I've tried
Yeah.
it. I gave up. I don't think I can do it.
So, relating to this, I remember when I was going for one of my shows, I had then received like my biggest order, and that was the first time that I employed two, three people because the order was quite huge, and I had a show then, and I did not want to miss the show. My mom has taught me, you can't do everything, but you should do everything you can. And it took some time to really understand what that meant, but now I really understand it, and so I never miss an opportunity to do whatever I can in the given time space. I think 24 hours a day is quite some time to do really,
It is.
quite a lot of stuff. So I remember this time when I was traveling to Delhi for one of my show, and I carried like a bag full of yarn with like a needle, and I was crocheting in the train, I was crocheting in the room, I crocheted when the show was like when the show got done, when we came back, and they're just looking at me. So the next, and then of course in the next week the order was completed. When I came back for the next show, they're like, "Are you gonna crochet today as well?" I'm like, "No, today is just the time for y'all." So I really like, how you can bond over things you never thought. Otherwise, I would never speak to people. I'm very introvert that way. But because of crocheting, they felt it interesting, and then we got into a conversation. So
Uh,
I think it's very
it's so
cute how
beautiful.
it teaches you
Yeah.
things.
You know how it, it's a part of you, and the fact that again now you're making a business out of it. In fact, I want to talk about that because I love like people who hustle, entrepreneurs who have like bootstrapped everything from scratch. It's so inspiring. It's never easy to build any business, no matter how big or small it is, what field it
Well,
is in. It
well,
takes so much of you, like that is your baby. So if you had to
yeah.
share some business advice with young women watching this right now, what would you share with a girl who wants to become an entrepreneur?
So I'll tell you this one thing. The reason why I started my business was because I did not procrastinate on that idea. Procrastination is good for a certain period of time, because you think about it, you rethink about it, but do not overthink about it because you will always find something that says, "Oh, I cannot do this." Begin, start right now. We'll see. जो होगा देखा जाएगा. We will see along the way, and you will get through it also. But if you don't begin at all, you're never going to reach there. If I
Hmm.
had to think about it, rethink about it, and overthink about it, I wouldn't be able to empower people today. So first thing is that when you have that idea, when you have that belief, start right now. We will see what happens along the way, and you will find a way. Just begin today. So I think that is one
Like they say,
important thing that I will say. Everything just goes with the flow. But if you don't take the first step, which is like the hardest to take, life won't lead you anywhere.
that is very inspiring. In fact, like they say, better done than perfect. And that's
Yeah.
probably what a lot of perfectionists end up doing, that you never
Exactly.
take
You
the first
take
step
the first
itself.
step.
Yes. And also, I think it comes with a lot of, knowing that, oh, whatever it is, I can handle it. Like, you need that courage and that belief in yourself to go ahead with it. What's the worst? Obviously, take calculated risks, but you gotta take some risk. Otherwise, you're not gonna
Yeah,
build a
but with
legacy.
risk comes magic, honestly. And if you don't take the risk, you won't see the magic. So
That
start
is
today.
true.
Even if you fail at it, you will learn something at it, and that will help you in your further journey. So just take the risk. See
Yeah.
where life has led me today. So all
I
that
know,
that is
yes,
all.
you're definitely an example, and some very wise words that, take the risk, there is magic on the other
Yeah.
side. I think that's something we can all take away. Um, Now, one thing that I'm trying to, because I always try to kind of analyze people, that's just my personal tendencies. Being an entrepreneur, you must have felt or faced a lot of issues, just like handling people, like a team of people. If I have to talk about myself, I think my feeling is that hiring people and building a team is one of the hardest challenges for an entrepreneur. How have you dealt with that, in your personal life or with your business? And how do you think is that going to help you when it comes to, making connections in a beauty pageant and also ending up winning the competition?
So I think it is very important. When initially when I started the business, I was so it was like my baby, as you mentioned, and you want to do everything right with it. You cannot see it going in the wrong hands. You cannot see it being misused or ill treated. So when the first responsibility came in of giving the job to someone else and only looking at how they are going to perform your given task, I think it really made me very anxious about it. But during the process, I learned that it is important that we trust the group that we are working with, because if they do not find that sense of understanding, the sense of relatability, that even if there is make a mistake along the way, there is someone to back me up, there is someone who will understand the process and understand why I made the particular mistake, they will not be comfortable with you, and that will show in the results. So it is necessary that you be very understanding with the person, and only when you do that will they be able to relate with you. I think that is one thing. And being relatable is one aspect that will help you in life, in business, in everything else, because if you are not comfortable telling me your flaws, you'll just go through the same thing every day and we'll never get the desired results. So build a rapport, have sessions with your team where you understand why they are going through what. If they make the same mistake multiple times, there is something wrong. And it's not wrong with them, it's wrong with you as well, because they are a part of your team. So you become a part of them and they become a part of your business. So make sure that there is a good understanding between the two of you and you can relate with each other. Business is something that will come and go out, but do not lose yourself, or do not make sure that someone else doesn't lose themselves during your journey or your process or your plan. So I think that is one thing that my business and dealing with people in my team has taught me, and it has also helped me in the course of this pageant. Even during the time that I opt in for this pageant, I had people who could relate with me, and I think that is one of the most important qualities that a beauty queen should possess, because we are representing the people around us, and we are representing quite a few women who are still watching without a voice. So if we can give them a voice by our story, I think it's nothing like it.
That is so true. I think what you've talked about is, a beautiful example of learning how to be a good leader. And good leadership skills obviously mean that you have to take accountability for what is happening around you. And that you consider yourself not above the people, but rather you're a part of the same team. And that is the relatability that we need to see, in fact, in beauty queens as well. Very well said, Victoria, I have to say. I'm learning a lot, in fact, from this as well. My last question for you, because you've had such an interesting life story, that I see that someday, there might be a book about this and it would resonate with so many young hearts. If you had to, come up with an idea, how do you think you would title your biography?
I think you've really put me in a pickle now. But if there was a situation as such, I would really title it If You Believe. And that will not just talk about if you believe in yourself and how great your life can be if you believe in yourself. It will also talk about if you believe in others' opinion, how that can hamper your path to success or you as a person. So it's not just that you believe in yourself, it's also important to understand that you do not always need to believe in what others say about you, because it is their job, they will say, but you do you. So that will be my title for sure. I have a title now if anyone asks me. Thanks.
Yes, and there's also a song that starts like that, I think, right? Like, if you believe that.
Yeah.
I don't know the rest of the song. Yes, so we can imagine that song playing in the background with that book cover. So let's manifest that. Yeah,
Yes.
that's probably
With the crown,
something that
my
we
picture
see.
with the crown on it.
Yes. So thank you so much. I had so much fun talking to you, Victoria, and I'm sure that you're going to carry forward this wonderful energy that you have, and all of the skills and experiences that come along with you. You're amazing to talk to. So I hope that the organization and, the audience sees that as well. I hope everyone who joined us today enjoyed this conversation. We do have a lot of beautiful comments dropping in. And for everyone watching, if you want to watch this live later, you probably joined in the middle, then all of these episodes are going to be uploaded on my YouTube channel where you can watch this fun conversation with me and Victoria. And let's wish Victoria all the very best for the rest of the competition.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in and showing in your love. It has truly been a very great support for me, and continue to show your support to me and all the other contestants here. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. It was really good to have you all watch our session, because it really motivates us with the comments that we read. And I hope I am able to put in my thoughts and myself in front of you. And let's hope for the best.
Yes, all the best, and thank you so much for sharing your story. Bye.